Every year for National Vocations Awareness Week, I try to do my part in promoting discernment and active Christian discipleship. I produced a video countering the common excuses people give for saying no to God, encouraging them to say yes. Responded to 5 common myths about vocations, like the belief that vocations are dropping. We'll get back to that in a second. I told stories about how people in my life encouraged me along the way, giving away free books so that viewers could encourage others. And last year, in sort of a tongue-in-cheek style, gave 5 reasons why people shouldn't become priests. If you haven't seen it yet, it is worth a watch. Definitely one of my favorite videos I've ever made. And so this year, I'm at it again, doing my best to promote vocations, but I thought I'd do it with a slightly different approach. Rather than speaking to discerners, rather than trying to promote vocations, I wanted to give my take on why some communities don't have any. This is an open letter to religious communities and their vocation directors. Dear religious communities, here we are again, that uncomfortable time of year, that time when the church is promoting vocations and you're reminded how difficult it's been to find new members. Maybe you've got 1 or 2 every few years, maybe it's been quite some time. Things just aren't as they used to be in the good old days when classes of 15, even 50 would come in each year. It is what it is, you say. The world has changed, and as sad as it is to see vocations dropping, to see your order fading away, it's just the reality of the church these days. Vocations are tough to come by, and to some extent, that's true. Fewer people are entering the priesthood and religious life than 60 years ago, yes. There isn't quite the same consciousness about vocations as there once was, making it nearly impossible to fight against the culture. And yet, that's not the whole story. Because, you see, for the past decade or so, seminary enrollment has actually increased, as has the overall number entering religious life in the United States. This growth is so large in some communities, believe it or not, that some religious institutes are bigger than they were 10 years ago. The vocations are out there. People may not be entering religious life quite like they did 60 years ago, but they're still entering. The question really has to be this: why isn't your community attracting them? It's a harsh question, I know, and admittedly, it's extremely complicated. There isn't a simple answer that applies to everyone, and I don't mean to be particularly critical to people who have devoted their lives to Christ. I thank you for all that you've done. But I do also want to challenge you. I do think that there is something, a common factor that has failed too many communities, and if you're looking to salvage yours, looking to attract new members, it might just be the thing you have to change. That fatal flaw, you ask? Simply put, I believe too many communities have made themselves too much like the rest of the world. There is nothing unique, interesting, or even challenging about their lives. I know that this is the case because I've heard vocation directors and religious communities say it with their own lips. Asked about how they handle the vows, about what it's like to be a consecrated person, their response is to downplay the differences. They say something like, oh, you know, religious life is a lot like normal life. We live in a family structure, we have meals together, we go to work, and then we hang out with one another. I assume, worried that the life may seem too difficult for an aspirant, they try to make the life out to be nothing more than a different version of regular lay life. To put it bluntly, normal life with no sex and more community members. And maybe that works for some people. Maybe there are some out there not looking for anything extraordinary, not looking for a challenge, just looking for a place to belong and fade into the background. I definitely think that this is the case for some, and I'm happy that the church has a place for people like this to live holy lives. But for most people, for the type of person that will bring life and vigor to your charism, that is wholly unattractive. If all you do is what normal people do, if there isn't a clear sense of mission, a clear sense of identity that gives one's life purpose, why would anyone give up family life to do it? Look at the communities that are growing these days. Religious that wear habits, that live strict lives, that put a heavy emphasis on prayer and liturgy, that are dedicated to communal life. These are communities that have a distinct identity, that offer something different than the world can offer, that give each religious a sense of purpose in their lives, that they are doing something worthwhile. I really hate to diminish a vocation down to a habit, to a public sign of profession, but it is important. In today's world, people want visibility. They want something distinct. Now, there are some, of course, who want it for the wrong reasons or are attracted to what they believe to be a sign of honor and privilege, but in my experience, the vast majority want it as a sign of evangelism. They see the world as vain and broken, consumed with material wealth and fading things, and want to make their life about something else, something simple, something humbling. They want every aspect of their lives to be distinct from the world, pointing to Christ. For me, it's not about whether your community has a habit or not. This thing isn't a magic vocation maker, but rather what it symbolizes. It's a different life. It's a strange life. It's a meaningful life unlike anything you will find out in the world. If you ask me, that's the reason that some communities are fading away while others are growing rapidly. It's because some have made their lives just look like the rest of the world. They have comfortable stipends, easy jobs, lazy prayer lives, and fraternal lives that more resemble random roommates than they do men and women vowed together. Others have doubled down. They live austere lives, work hard, pray like their lives depend on it, and show the world that they are willing to lay down their lives for their community members. I know that the word radical gets thrown around a lot, and I think it's a bit worn out, but there is some truth to it. The communities that are growing are radical. They're committed. They understand that their life is about being different from the world, and they don't just embrace that, they flaunt it. We're different, and we want to be different. Now, obviously, being different for different's sake is not a value in itself, and taken to its extreme just becomes a cult, but hear what I'm ultimately saying. Loving Jesus is a radical stance for our world. Devoting your life to be a disciple is not normal. Selling all your things and coming together in a community to follow him in a consecrated way is not for everyone. So stop pretending that it is. Stop watering down what it is you are so that it may appear more attainable to some people, because that is precisely what is killing it. Brothers and sisters, religious, vocation directors of the world, as religious, you are by definition different. Your life is separate from the rest of the world. Your rule of life is focused and difficult and meant for only some people. So let yourself be who you are. If you want to attract new people, the answer is not to be more like the world, not to make things easier and more familiar. It is to be more of what you are, a particular charism with particular gifts for the world. Rediscover who that is. Give yourself entirely over to that mission, and watch how much more attractive you become. May God bless you with vibrant lives and many vocations.